Well, tonight, Vicky Pryce will find herself in Holloway Jail, joining more than, 4,000 women behind bars throughout England and Wales. Earlier, I spoke to Paula Harriott from the charity Use a Voice, which supports offenders. She spent 4 years in prison for a drugs offence and told me what it felt like the moment she stepped into jail.
I think you're just completely disorientated, really fearful. I felt frightened. You know, you have memories of prisoner cell block H and bad girls, and just completely out of your comfort zone. The stress of the trial, you haven't slept, you haven't eaten properly, and then your worst fear is it's happening to you, and I just felt stunned to the point that I couldn't really focus on anything else. You get the handcuffs get put on you, and you realise that it's serious. You're not going home. You go through the process of going into the van. When I was in the van, there's cells inside those vans, so you're locked inside a cell in the van. The dark glass, you can look out, but nobody can see you. And that's the moment I realised that I'm in captivity and I'm not going home, I'm in prison already.
And when you eventually reach your cell, is there somebody else in it, or you're there on your own?
No, you come out of the van, into the reception, you're processed, paperwork, stripped of your jewellery, you put on the grey prison uniform, the grey sweatshirt, the grey trousers, you're in shock, you're in a holding room in reception, you hear women who are detoxing from drugs, they're, you know, in withdrawal, women crying, women desperately trying to contact carers for their children because they haven't made appropriate arrangements, you know, real sense of tension and anxiety. And then I got taken to a cell on my own. You get given a bedding pack to make up your bed, and I remember being struck by the chipped paint on the metal bed that's fixed to the floor, and the toothpaste all over the walls, because people stick photographs on the walls with toothpaste, and so the walls are covered in toothpaste, and blood on the mattress. And looking at it and thinking, oh my God, like I'm in hell. And the door shuts behind you.
You as a woman, jewellery, nice clothes, suddenly in this grey uniform,
no,
you are
you're stripped
completely
of your identity, and for a moment it's completely disorientating, because everything that you think you are, some of it is the way in which you visually present yourself. And without that, for a moment, I think if you're not a strong individual, you can completely get lost. And I can actually understand why the first 24 hours in prison is the most traumatic, because it's at that moment you've lost a sense of who you are. Everything that gives you strength is no longer there, and you have to find it within yourself. And if you can't access it readily, if you don't have resilience, then that's when I understand why, you know, there's massive incidents of self-harm within women's prisons, why it's got women's imprisonment evidence is the highest percentage of suicide.
But at any level, does it work?
I think that separating women from the chaos of their lives can be beneficial. I don't know if the prison environment as we have it now is the best way to separate people and to give them the space to address the issues that have driven them to commit crime in the first place.
Is it worse for a middle-class, successful, professional woman, do you think?
I think it will be a humbling experience for her. I think she'll realise that many of the drivers for her behaviour, for her breaking the law, are shared by some of the women in that prison. You know, women who are drug mules, who have been coerced into making decisions to support men in their lives, women that have been pimped on the streets.
Are you a better woman for having been in prison?
I think I'm a wiser woman, because I had space to reflect on my behaviour, and I think that was beneficial for me.
Paula Harriott, who now works for Use of Voice.